Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 for the start of our Felsbrunn playthrough. So we're on Farm Manager mode, which is the middle game mode. This gives us a nice large starting amount of cash and a not too bad level of debt and nothing else. So no land, no equipment, no farm. It's up to us where we get started. And it's going to spawn us in at the default point, and as you can see, because we're on Farm Manager mode as opposed to beginner mode, we have a very vacant, empty lot. Now, we could build a farm up here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to build a custom farm somewhere else. So let's go into the settings here. These are the two fields that I've purchased. So you can see I've already gone ahead and bought those two parcels of land just there. And it's up to us now to start creating our farm. So we need to go into farm placeables, and I'm going to be a little bit different. I'm not just going to plonk bits down and leave it like that. I'm going to try and concrete out as much of the area as I possibly can before we get started. Now the way to do that is to spend a bit of cash. So we're going to spend 22 grand on one of these sheds, and we're going to plonk that down. I'll try and get this square and straight if I can. So let me try and line this up with the field so it's a nice straight edge. That looks to be about right. So we're going to, actually it'll be easier if I do it this way around so it doesn't pivot. Let's try and line those feet up with the edge of the field. That looks pretty good. Yep, okay, so I'm going to place this shed down just... See, that looks wonky with the road. Let's try and use those lines on the grass there as an indicator. I think that's about right. So I'm going to place this down about here. And that puts down a nice concrete base underneath the shed. Now, I don't want that shed there. What I do want is a nice concrete base for us to build our farm on. So it's not going to let me deform the terrain by putting another one there. And if I go too far back, it collides with other objects. So I'm going to go back into owned objects now, and I'm going to sell the shed. Now, the shed goes, but the concrete base remains. So let's buy a different shed this time. There you go. You can see that we now can put down this shed and we have a nice concrete base to work from. Now I'm going to try and do the same again. So if I place the shed about there, you can see it's built the concrete base underneath and we're building up a nice concrete area. So let me go back into owned items and sell that shed. We're losing a chunk of cash every time we do this. We're losing half the value of the shed, but we are getting a very nice starting sort of placeable area. If I go into the small shed now, I can do the same again. So if I place that about there, you can see we're just kind of extending this concrete base all the way along here. I don't think it'll let me do it again just here. Yeah, it's saying the terrain can't be deformed and we're colliding with other objects. So we've gone about as far as we can that way. If we go to this way though, there's nothing to stop us from doing it over here. To an extent. Now it's a bit awkward at the moment because of that other shed being there, but again we can go in and we can sell that shed, and we've got this lovely large concrete area for us to play about with. Actually, I think that's probably enough, so let's start dropping in some of these sheds to really give us a nice good starting area. Let's see, I want to have this one just about here, I think. There we go. I want another one of these Will it let me go back a bit further? Oh, it will. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, a little bit too far. There we go. So there we go. So we've got our two equipment sheds. They're not quite perfectly lined up, but they're close enough like that. And that's where we're going to be storing our equipment. Now we need a farmhouse. Now I could plonk it here and use up this area like that if I wanted to. I could try and rotate it round, and that's probably what I'm going to do, actually, is rotate it. Let me check to see which way the door opens. See, the door opens towards the camera, which means that's the front of our farmhouse, so we need to spin that around like that. There we go. And I think we'll place that just there. Oh, there is one other thing I need to let you know about this terraforming. The price will change based on how much terraforming is involved. So this costs 350,000, but you can see if you look in the control box, it says buy 351,887. Now if I were to move this to where I had to do a bit more terraforming, the price will change. So it's slightly higher there, or it was for a second. There, 352,000. If I try and do it over here at this angle, square it up a bit, it's 381,238. And so you pay for the terraforming costs as well as the item that you're buying. So if you suddenly end up spending a lot more money than you thought you were going to spend, that'll be the reason why. So that's something you need to take into consideration when you place these down. So I'm just looking. Yep, that's the back of the house. The front of the house is around here. You can tell because of the open front door. There we go. So can I place this about there? Yes, I can. There we go. So let's place that down. Try and square it with the concrete base we've created, like that. There we go. So we have our farmhouse, we have our two sheds. What else are we going to need? We're going to need a silo. There we go. So we could place the silo sort of in this area if we wanted to. We could also kind of build it off to the side. I'm actually going to build it into the path just here, like this. I think that's going to work quite nicely. So we place that, say, there. There we go. So our pathway now extends, or our concrete base extends into the pathway for the ramp. And then we've got our unload point inside our yard area. And what else are we going to need? How much cash have I got left? I've got $54,000 left. We do have a loan available. We're going to need that to buy our equipment, because I'm kind of spending a lot of cash here. We do have a few other little odds and sods we need to buy, so we'll probably need a workshop. Can I squeeze a workshop in the corner here? I can kind of squeeze it in here. You can see that green line there. That indicates the area where the workshop will be, in effect. So if I want to stick it about there, there we go. And you can see we've just extended the base around the back a little bit. But we have our workshop now next to our storage sheds. And I'm going to go with a pressure washer. And this should hopefully sit just nicely on the side here. Rotate that round a bit. There we go. So we've got our pressure washer next to our workshop there. Is there anything else that we need? We've got storage. We've got a silo. We've got a farmhouse. We could go with some decoration, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. I'm quite happy with that. So there we go. We have our farm location. So I can't skip there at the moment. Actually, no, I can. I can teleport up there now that we have a placeable. So let's visit. There we go. Here is our custom farm. So we own these 2 fields, and we have this nice concreted area like this that we've been able to create by buying and selling placeables to put the base down. And then we've put in our farmhouse. I love that scythe, just leaning up against the side there. Old school farming tech, that's brilliant. And then we have our workshop and our pressure washer. And we have 2 storage sheds. We've got everything we need with our silo just there as well. Now we need to buy our equipment. Now we only have $20,000, which is nothing really, is it? And we're in the wrong currency. We're in Europe, so we need euros. There we go. So let's go into our finance tab. Where is finances? Here we go. And we're going to borrow some cash. Now on start from scratch mode, your loan is limited to a maximum of 500,000. On this mode, it's a little bit higher than that. It's about 700,000, I think. There we go. So we can actually take out 735,000. Now it might be that it's varied slightly based on the land that you own. I'm not too sure on that. We'll take out all of it to start with, and then we'll put back what we don't need at the end. So let's start buying up some stuff. We need a combine. We're going to be harvesting grain, so we need a combine. We're going to keep things nice and simple to start with. We're going to use this nice New Holland TX32. I say new with emphasis because it's actually an old model, as you can see. So we'll buy that. We need the header for it, so we need to go into Tools, down to Headers, buy the header. There we go. We also need a header trailer, so we can transport that, because it's quite a trek now from the store to our farm. It's not a short journey by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll buy one of those. There we go. We also need a tractor, and I'm going to use the New Holland T6 in blue power because it looks really cool. We will be doing some John Deere stuff, but we'll be doing that on Ravenport. So if you're a John Deere fan, don't despair. There will be some John Deere stuff coming up for you, very soon. There we go. We have a choice of wheel types. So again, we can go Nokians if we want, or Trelleborg. We're going to go with Trelleborg, and I'm going to go with wide and weights. I'm going to uprate the engine all the way up to 175 horsepower. I'm not going to fit a front loader at this point, because we're not going to need it for a little while. So we'll save that extra 1,500. Could be useful, having that extra 1,500. You never know. So we'll buy that for 130 grand. How much have we got left now? 239,381. Okay, so we're burning through our cash pretty quickly here. What else are we going to need? We're going to need a seeder. There are a few to choose from. We're going to start with a nice simple 3-meter one. We could go with the Vardestadt Spirit, which is 30,000. 3-meter seeder. We'll cultivate and also will seed at the same time. Has a total seed capacity of 2,800 litres. But we're going to go with this one. It's only 2 grand more, but this will fertilise as well and holds an extra 200 litres. This holds 3,000 litres of seed and 2,000 litres of fertiliser. So we're going to go with this. It's just a little bit more useful, as you can see, and actually slightly less on the slot count as well. There's only 10 slots as opposed to 13. So the better choice, I think. So we'll buy one of those seeders. There we go. So we don't need a cultivator now because we have that. Now, what about our field states? What are our field states in? Let's have a look. Now, both of our fields are going to need ploughing, as you can see. They've previously had a crop on there that do need ploughing. And you can see that some of them do, some of them don't. Some of these fields need lime, others don't. What about ours? We turn off the need to plough. One of our fields is going to need to be limed as well, as you can see, but the other one is fully fertilised, which is quite nice. So let's turn that back on again. There we go. So we know we need a plough. So let's buy a plough. Well, let's buy the 2.5 metre Agramash plough. Now we have a choice here. We can have universal moldboards, or we can go for slatted moldboards. Now this is obviously a design choice that we had on the Gregoire Besson SPSL9 from the Big Mud Pack, where we could do that. We can actually do it on this little cedar here as well. I'm going to go with the universal moldboards. You know, there's no point paying an extra $2,000 for something that we don't really need to use that often. So let's buy the plow. What next? I need a way to fertilise my fields, because they need 2 stages of fertilisation. The seeder will do 1. Let's buy a sprayer. Let's buy this new Hardy Mega 2200. Let's buy one of those. I'm kind of looking forward to trying this out. This looks pretty cool. So I'll buy that. There we go. So we have a seeder, we have a fertilizer, we have a plough. We don't need a cultivator because our seeder will do that for us. So that's going to save us a few quid, which is always nice. Or for a few euros, I suppose. We're going to need a trailer. Now we have a choice of a few decent sized small trailers. We could go with the Fortschritt here as a standard kind of grain trailer. We've got a choice of Lizard tyres, or Trelleborgs, or Michelin. And that's basically all it is. It's just a trailer here. We can change colours on it. Oops. So you can see here we can choose from 4 colours there. We can also change the rim colours. A lot more choices there. And we can also change the design colour, which is essentially the tarp over the top. But this Strautmann trailer here, this is brilliant. It absolutely is. It says 12,000 litres there, but it's only 4,000 in, you know, when you first look at it. So there it is in 4,000. But we can also have it with 8,000 litres or 12,000 litres. And if it's a trailer like this, you know, as a grain trailer, we can also throw a cover on as well. And then on top of that, we can also make it a loading trailer as well. So we can throw bales on there, or we can throw pallets on there for seed and all sorts of wonderful funky things. And we have a choice on wheels as well: Trelleborg, Michelin, or Lizard. We'll go with Michelin tyres. We'll have it as a 12,000 litre with a cover. There we go. So that's our grain trailer. Nice stuff. Right, what else are we missing? I'm trying to think. Let's have a quick look in what we've got. We've got a tractor, a combine with the header and trailer, a grain trailer, a seeder, a plough. That cultivates as well, so we don't need the cultivator. Just see the train whizzing through in the background there. The sprayer. I'm sure we're missing something. Oh, we need a weeder. We are going to need a weeder. So we have a choice. We can go with the brand new one, which is very nice, but also very expensive. We're going to go with the cheapest option. This was 81,000 for this seeder. Sorry, for this weeder in Farming Sim 17. It's only 18,000 in this. Much, much cheaper. So we'll buy that. 9-metre weeder with a little seed tank on the back if you want to plant grass or, I think, OSR. We'll buy that, because we're going to need to be able to weed our fields on a regular basis. So we are definitely going to need one of those. What else am I going to need? And then there's choices of things that I would like to have, but I'm trying to think what I need more than anything else. We could get ourselves a lime spreader, or we could just lease whenever we need one. Is it going to be only every 3 harvests? So rather than buy one of these, I think we'll lease when we need one and save a bit of cash that way. So beyond that, I don't think there's anything else that we particularly need to have. I think the rest now comes down to, you know, extras that, you know, would be quite nice to have. So let's have a look at vehicles. Could we afford a second small tractor, perhaps? What's the cheapest? It's the Fiat at 59,000. That's going to take a long time. We could go with a New Holland. Let's see, a T5 there. It's 83,000. A T6, his base price is 100. or just over around about 100. So, it's the new arm track, the armor track there, 92,000. We can't change the colour on that. It's not a bad little tractor, that, the armor track, but yeah, I don't think we'll pick that up. Is there anything else in here that we could possibly get? A skid steer would be nice, but I'd love to have one of these as well. These little forklifts, but it's 37 grand that we really don't. You know what? No. Much as I'd like to, I think we'll hold off on any additional purchases. I don't want to go too crazy. So, there is one other thing I do want though, and that is a Retriever, a Mahindra Retriever. This thing is brutally fast. It's 60 miles an hour. It's so easy to roll these if you go around a corner too fast. They literally just go straight over. The Gator is limited to 32 miles an hour. This twice as fast, twice as likely to throw itself off a cliff. But we're going to buy a Mahindra Retriever because it's kind of funky. It's kind of cool. I think that's everything. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, that is everything. So, let's take a look at all of our equipment. So there's our Retriever. It looks tiny up against some of this equipment, doesn't it? There's our weeder, our trailer, our sprayer, our plow, our tractor, our seeder, and then our combiney stuff. Let's do it. It's got an autosave turned on, I think. Let's check our settings. Yes, autosave set every 15 minutes. Okay. I want to turn off automatic engine start. There we go. Everything else, let's turn these off. There we go. Plant growth normal. Withering on. Destruction on. Yes, 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 yes. Right. Time for us to get all of this stuff transferred over to our farm. So I'll do that. And then I'll see you in a little while. Okay, so we are here back at the store. I've converted my trailer over to a pallet/bale trailer, so I can transfer these materials over to the farm. And we're using the new Manitou forklift. It's just because I wanted to use the forklift as a way to sort of load the trailer up. And I have to say, I've only been in this thing for about 30 seconds and I'm loving it already. It's brilliant. So for my sprayer, which has a capacity of 2,200 litres, we're going with a single pallet or a single tank of liquid fertiliser. Just buying what we need to get us going, to get started. We can stockpile stuff another time. Can I get this off without causing an issue? There we go. I'll kind of bodge it on there a little bit. Yeah, this is what I mean about the vehicle steering sensitivity on the arms. So we're going to change that down to something a bit more manageable. Let's go to, say, 150. Let's try that. Oh yeah, it's a bit more manageable. There we go. I do like the way you can see the hand moving the joystick there for the controls, and even going side to side, as you can see, for the tilt. That's just really nice to see. A little bit more immersion, a little bit more in depth in the character animations. It's what we like to see. There we go. Let's get the trailer loaded up. Hopefully this one will go on much more smoothly. 5 of these pallets I need to get loaded. Oh yeah, beautiful. Look at that. Let's strap this one down. Like that. There we go. And let's load up the rest of these pallets and get these taken back to the farm. I'm also going to buy a set of front loader arms for my T6 as well, so that when we get back to the farm we can unload and fill up the relevant bits of equipment. Of course, we could just drive up to the pallets and click the relevant button just to auto-fill, but I'd like to try and be a little bit more hands-on with things like that if I can, so we'll go with that option there. This itself is just leased, and I'll leave this down here at the store on a permanent lease until we can spare enough cash to actually buy one outright, and then I might buy one for the farm as well. Have one here and one at the farm. We'll see on that one. But for now, just lease it and see how we go. It's not the widest of trailers, this, so isn't sticking over the other edge. Like a little bit of wiggle room to play about with, but not much. There we go. Let's strap those down. I'll continue loading this, and I'll see you back at the farm. And we're in. Back at the farm. So, we have everything that we need here at the farm now. Just detach the trailer there. So we have our 3 pallets of seed and our 2 pallets of solid fertilizer and our 1 pallet of liquid fertilizer as well. That's everything we need for our equipment just over there. As you can see, if we take a look at our fields, the field that's got a little bit of growth on it, we're actually going to plough that out. We're going to plough out both of our fields. Get them seeded as quick as we can. And from there, we'll then start growing our first crops. We do need to apply some lime to our first field there, which is actually field 1. So yeah, field 1 needs some lime. It's so long since I ever started with field 1 as my first field. But there we go. So let's see. What do we need to do first? Well, we need to top up the seeder. But actually, no, we can leave all that for now. Let's park up our arms just here. Oops, a little bit too close to the gutters there. I'll leave these here for now until I can think of a better place to store them. There we go. You can see there's our Retriever parked up in the bay there. This is obviously way too tall to fit in there. Let's just park the trailer out of the way as well. And then once we've stripped everything off and loaded up everything, we'll convert that back to a grain trailer. There we go. Look at the plough. There we go. Turn the beacons off now. Let's get started on this field first of all. I am seriously toying with the idea of spending our remaining 90,000 of our budget to get a small second tractor. In fact, let me just have a look. What's the power requirements of this particular plough? Let's take a look. 180 horsepower, which is pretty much the limit of this tractor, so we couldn't get a second tractor for ploughing unless we leased, because we can't really afford to buy outright Unless we go for see even a cheap medium or a cheap case 7200 is more than we can afford. A standard T6, an extra £4 on top before it gets modified. A small tractor here isn't going to have the power range that we need. Best I can do with the T5 is get up to 117. The Vario here, I can go to 150. What does my cedar need? Let's have a look. Cedar needs 180, so I can't really go with that. It's not great, is it, in terms of choices? We're a little bit stuck for cash. Don't actually have the ability to maybe take out a little bit more now that we've brought a load of stuff in. Let's have a look. Let's give it a try. We could always do a contract to earn a bit more. No, we're maxed out. We can't take out any more money. So we have 735,000 euros of debt there. That's an awful lot. Let's just turn our plough. There we go. So we've got a bird just wandering across the field there. We're going to rip him up in a minute. Let's get lined up and start the ploughing. There we go. So, a couple of things to let you know about that I've figured out or discovered with the ploughing. Obviously, you can still use the plough to create new fields, so you can join fields together if you want to. We're going to keep these two separate for now, but we'll probably end up joining them together as soon as we get another parcel of land with some more, with a new field. But what I have noticed, and I don't know if this is deliberate or if it's a bug, is that if you allow to create new fields and then hire a worker, it does not automatically switch off the allow create new fields like it did on Farming Sim 17. That stays active. So while the worker won't just plough that grass section between our two fields, we still have to do that manually. If he's running up and down a normal field, he will run along until he gets to the very end of the field, so you'll end up with these little jagged edges on your previously straight lined edge of your field where the plough has gone forward past the end point of the field at the front to get the back bit done, and he will create those little ridges all the way along your field. So you need to be very careful. You can't just do the quick lazy way of turning that feature off is to just hire a worker, because at the moment it don't turn it off. Like I said, that may be a bug. It may not be a deliberate thing, but be warned. Forewarned is forearmed. So I'll leave you with that. There's a little bit of useful information. You can see what I was talking about how the light effects change quite dramatically based on where the sun is as well. You can see how the tractor and the contrast rate settings almost feel a little bit weird sometimes, like they're not quite right. It's based on where the light source is and the angle that it's shining down on. So you can see if we go to this particular angle, and it's kind of accentuated with this particular tractor because of the metallic paint scheme rather than a matte or a gloss finish. It has that metallic finish, so it really does kind of highlight those light accents, and it really does look a bit strange when you're panning on the opposite side of the light source, and you can see, and it makes the surrounding sky look a bit weird as well. It's one of those things about the new light engine that's going to take a little time to adjust to, and eventually there'll be a reach point where you won't really notice it that much. But yeah, I'm going to leave this guy to plough away like this for a moment. I'm going to take on a contract. In fact, I'm just looking to see my fuel level is very low. That's another thing I've discovered. I did reset my tractor to get it back to the store nice and quick, and it seems to have emptied out my fuel tank by doing that. So again, don't know if that's a bug or if it's deliberate, but it has cost me pretty much a full tank of fuel with a single reset. Let me see, fuel trailers. I think we only have the one fuel trailer available, which we do, and I think that's probably a little bit too big for my Mahindra to transport. Might have to, take this off the job to go and refuel it. Just having a look to see if there's anything else really. There isn't, is there? Maybe in transport trailers. Just looking. No, there aren't any. So I wonder if the maybe the animal trailers, if there's a small, Joskin trailer there. Let's see, where's animals? Will that potentially take fuel as well? No, that just takes water. And that just takes milk and water. So, yeah, we will need to take this. Either we need to buy a really big fuel trailer and bring that up, or we'll need to drive off to the petrol station, which is down by the grey mill on the corner of Field 14. So it's not too far, but it's a bit of a trek. We could also take it across to the left instead and head out towards the BGA and the lime station. There is a fuel point over there as well, but I'm going to have to make my mind up on that pretty quickly before I run out of petrol. So yeah, I'll start looking through the contract stuff, see if I can find a job that will give me enough cash to maybe afford a second tractor. I'll see you in a moment. T6 has been refilled and worker is busy ploughing away the field for us. In the meantime, we're going to take on this harvesting contract. We need to harvest the sunflowers in field 6 and then take the product to Port Southeast. Field 6 is... where is field 6? Oh, it's this big field over here, and then we have to take the grain all the way down here to Port Southeast to set it off. All the equipment that we need has been leased in and is now here at the shop, ready and waiting. And it is the Case 9240, an uprated version of the 9230 that we had in Farming Sim 17. This has a slightly more powerful engine and some slightly different wheel options, and also has a larger capacity tank as well. Instead of 12,500, it's just over 14,000 litres. So really nice to have another large combine in the 14,000 range. We've also been given the header just here. We've been given a header trailer that we don't need because we're just going to mount it on the front. And we've also been given one of the trucks as well. Which one is this? This is the Lizard Warrior. Okay. And on top of that, we've also been given one of these trailers to use as well. Which one is the Distinction? Which brand is that? I can't remember. It's one of the new ones. I'm not familiar with it off the top of my head. It's not Wilson. Load King. There we go. It's the Load King trailer. So let's get the truck up and running first of all. There we go. Taking that turn way too tight. There goes the sign. Whoops. Let's try that again. Let's swing out a little bit. Oh, we've got traffic. At least it didn't ram into us, that's good. Take a wide turn, there we go. So, where do we go to get to field 6? Well, we need to go left. And then we need to go... just follow it round until it turns, basically, and then have that little nip up between fields 8 and 9. So what's it like in here, in the cab? It's not bad, you know. The pedals are moving in here as well. You might not be able to see it through the wheel. You can definitely see the brake pedal move. That's kind of cool. I like that. Let's move our way past this guy. There we go. Not the easiest thing to control the first time you get in it. I have noticed a very distinct difference in steering between 17 and 19. In some vehicles it's not so noticeable, in others it's very noticeable. But the steering just feels a bit different. Alright, this is our little turn off just here. There we go, and then there's our target field. Just in front of us, field 6. Plenty of sunflowers on there waiting to be harvested. Let's park the truck just here for now. There we go. And now it's time to take the combine over. Go. Hazards on. 2 at the front, 1 at the back. Indicators are a little bit weedy, or at least the rear indicators are a little bit weedy on quite a few of the vehicles. Beacons are nice, not reflective, unfortunately. Once again, Giant seem to be of the opinion that it just isn't possible on console, which we know is complete rubbish. We know it is possible. We've seen it in Farming Simulator with some of the mod maps that we had. Green River especially was a prime example of reflecting beacons on consoles that supposedly aren't possible. And we've seen it in other games as well, from lesser developed studios and lesser developed franchises. Where we've seen reflective beacons. So I don't know exactly why Giants have decided not to do that. Maybe it's just a performance thing, and I don't know. But the improvement on what they were. They look quite nice. They look quite crisp and sharp, and they do flash a little bit nicer. So it's not too bad, I suppose. And no hazards again. Unfortunately, that would have been nice to be able to have hazards switched on. I don't know why we've got no hazards. I don't know what the reason is for that. I haven't seen a reason, just that we don't have them. So, yeah, again, a bit of a shame. I think we should have had them. But it is what it is. So, let's break out this new combine. Let's get the header unfold. Actually, wait till we get across the road before we unfold the header. There we go. And unfold the combine itself. Good stuff. And off we go. Very nice. I do like, this is another nice new little change, I do like the dust coming off the front of the combine like that, the way it's a really fine little dust. It's a very nice effect. And obviously we do have chopped straw, which is a cosmetic change only. It does not give us a stage of fertilizer, but it does give us a nice look to the field. And you can see that kind of chopped straw effect. You can also see there the header that isn't quite catching the sunflowers is actually bending them back a little bit. And we don't have to be flawless when it comes to harvesting. I have done a test contract on another map already on Ravenport using the Agco Ideal, and I missed a couple of thin bits here and there, like we did just there, on this first pass. But as long as you get the vast majority of the field and deliver the grain, you should be fine. I think it may possibly depend on the size of the field. It's quite nice in here, isn't it? See our air suspension. Is it pneumatic, hydraulic? I think it's air, which would be pneumatic. A little seat suspension there, bouncing up and down. Same on our console there, which is attached to the seat. Nice bit of shock absorption there. Very nice. Oops, we drifted slightly again. What am I on? There we go. And turn. No time limits on contracts anymore either. It's there until you turn it down, basically, or complete it, one of the two. And jobs don't, contracts don't auto-complete anymore. So when you finish the contract, you will need to manually go in and toggle it as complete to say that you're done with it. But you can do contracts in stages. So if you want to, do a contract and it's a big job, you can do a little bit here, save, go away, come back, do it later. You do have that option, which is nice. I like that. When harvesting like this, we do need to manually unload the combine while we're doing it, which is different. It's new. It's not an unlimited tank like we've had in the past, where you just run them and you're done. So that will add more time to your job, because obviously you'll have to break off and empty the combine. You can hire a worker when you're on a contract, but obviously, the more money you spend while on a contract mission, the less you're actually going to come out with at the end in terms of profit. So it's entirely possible to not make a single penny if you contract almost all of the mission. It's just, end up doing it essentially for free, which just completely defeats the whole point of doing the mission or the contract in the first place. But it is useful to maybe hire a worker to run the combine when it's almost full, so you can then grab whatever vehicle you're using as your offload, so either a tractor and a trailer, or in our case a truck with trailer, to pull alongside, empty the combine, and then once you've finished emptying it, jump back in the combine, fire the worker, and carry on working it yourself. So you have some options in that respect, and actually I really appreciate that, the ability that we, to make that little sort of change and hire a worker so that we can unload on the go, and then kind of just take back over as soon as the unload is finished. I'm quite grateful that we actually have the opportunity to do that. So this is going to pay us, I think, around about £8,000, this contract, which will give us nearly enough to buy a new tractor. I'm going to go for, I think, another T6. And we're going to ideally want at least 100 grand, probably, if we can get up to it, 130 grand, so we can kind of, or maybe at 120, so we can uprate the engine a little bit, give us some more options when it comes to our equipment. Or maybe actually we could just go with that Fent 500 favourite. That'll go up to 150 horsepower, and we won't need quite as much cash. We could go with that, I think, possibly. So we'll need to do at least one more contract job after this one. And that's fine, because it's going to take our worker a while to plough out our fields with a 2-metre plough. So we can keep kind of plugging away and earning a bit of cash, and while our worker is busy cleaning up our fields for us. And once he's done that and we've got a bit of extra cash, we can then go ahead and put some lime down on one of the fields and start planting and get our first proper crops in the ground. Right, the combine's almost full, so I've hired a worker just while I run the truck. There we go. I have to say, I do like the interiors of these trucks, or these trailers, sorry. Very nice. Let's set the cruise control at the right speed. I love those sloped sides like that. That looks brilliant. Wow, are we empty already? Or I just moved too far away? I think I moved too far away. There we go. So we hold position about there. Stop, worker. Stop. There we go. He'll continue to unload. Let's turn the engine off on that. Jump back in here. Fire the worker. Because he's just taking away from our payday now. There we go. And let's get back onto the sunflower. I have made a couple of slight little drifts while I've been harvesting and left very short little thin strips. But as I said, we don't need to be flawless. We do need to get the vast majority of it. It's not like before where it'll just ping when you've done enough and that's the end of it. You know, you have to do almost the entire field, and you know, you have to deliver whatever you've done as well. So you could harvest the entire field absolutely flawlessly, but until you deliver the grain, you won't get a little notification pop up, and it'll pop up like worker has finished the task. It'll say contract complete, which means you've finished everything that's required. But even at that point, you still haven't actually officially ended the contract. You still have to go into the contract screen and then select the contract and then say completed, and that then returns the equipment and closes the contract off. So I will keep running up and down, harvesting more and more sunflowers until this field is just about done, and then I will see you pretty much as we're ready to deliver the grain. Okay, it's the last little bit done. There's the odd little thin strip here and there, but I'm hoping that I've got enough actually done. So let's unload into the trailer and check the job percentage. See where we're up to. We're at 80% at the moment. We still have to deliver, of course, and we've got to deliver all of the grain that we've harvested so far. That's going to take up the vast majority of it. I'm looking at this trailer. It's split into two separate compartments. I'm wondering if that means we can actually haul two separate goods in this trailer. That's something I'll have to test out at some point, I think. Right, let's turn the engine off, jump into the truck. There we go. And we need to deliver this to Port Southside. Let's make our way over with this delivery. Got a bit of a trek to get there. Let's get onto the actual field itself, or onto the road itself. There we go. So, looking at the map, just follow the road round, turn right at the first junction, left at the next one, then do a little squiggle round by the shop. And that should hopefully bring us... Ooh, it's clipped another car. That should hopefully bring us out near Port Southside. I have noticed that the traffic is incredibly strong in a head-on collision. You will get bounced all over the place if you hit in a tractor. A truck with a big load like this, you're probably a bit more likely to stay in one place. But yeah, still the collision physics are a bit iffy, a bit dodgy, in the sense that, you know, you bump into a car and it sends you flying. It's a little frustrating to see. I was hoping that we wouldn't have these kind of weird weight disparity issues like that. There may be a deliberate reason. Maybe it's to discourage you from bumping traffic out of the way. I'm not sure the exact reason why we have that issue still, but it is still there. Okay, so from here, I kind of want to turn this way, past the shop, and then turn here. I think. Actually, I probably could have gone along the bottom, but never mind, we'll go this way. Turn off the indicators. There we go. Sweep our way around this hill. Careful not to get too fast so that I don't lose control. These are quite tight bends in places. Ooh, nice little bridge to go underneath here. Oh, tight roundabout. This is very tight. Ooh. Right, we've knocked a sign down. Whoops. Okay, from here then we need to go this way. Ah! I completely misjudged that. Just taking out signs left, right and centre here. That's not so good. There's our delivery point. That grate just there, I believe. So this should be our turn just here, I think. This is going to be tight. Can I squeeze in here without taking the sign down? Nope. There's another signpost dead. I am just destroying all the signposts today. I'm going to have to get used to some of these traders and the handling, I think. There we go. Ah, we're unloading from the base. I wonder what was going on. Why the rear wasn't opening up. So we've done one compartment. Unknown is not accepted here. What? Okay, I need the help menu for this one to see if I can figure out what's going on. There we go. Overloading, and that's the rest of it. And there we go. Contract on field 6 is finished. So we've got some income from delivering the crop as well, an extra 1,686. So to finish the contract off, we need to go back to the contract page and then press square to complete the contract and get our payment. There we go. Nice little bit of extra cash. We're up to 97,000. How's our worker getting on? Nearly finished the field. And this is that new plough texture I was talking about. You can see a little bit different, a little bit more sort of breakup in the plough textures. They're not those perfectly smooth furrows that we saw before. You can see there's kind of like stone and stuff in there as well mixed in now. So it's still that flat 2D texture, but it does look a little bit nicer. That's good to see that there has been some improvement in the textures. And when we come back, we'll be ready to start ploughing this one out, do another contract, and hopefully get steeding away on this one. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more Farming Simulator 19 here on Felsbrunn very soon.